is to help you increase brand authority and visibility on what it is that you're building as you're building it. There's no need to wait till the house is already built and ready to go. You can actually start getting visibility as you're building. And that's something I really want to hone in on for everyone here today. Before I was Doc Peace, I was Dr. Peace Ucha, working as a pharmacist full time. If you were to Google my name, all you would find was LinkedIn, my LinkedIn pharmacist profile. I had absolutely no presence as a spoken word poet, as a brand strategist. I had absolutely no presence because I had not taken the time to get media attention. I was shifting careers. I have now been featured in Forbes, Yahoo Finance, ArtNet News, CoinDesk twice. To say the least, this would not have happened if I didn't take the steps that I'm going to share with you today to get featured on those platforms. Today's agenda is to first dial in why media attention matters. Secondly, we're going to show how to get media attention. And then I'm also going to show you some media alternatives as well. Why is it so important to get media attention for your brand? I'm going to take you back to when I was at one of the big major conferences, and I was speaking on this stage. And I remember someone close to me asking, how did you get on this stage? How did you get an opportunity to speak on this platform? I've been trying to get on this platform. I've been auditioning. I've been pitching. I've been doing all the things to get on this platform, and I haven't been able to do so yet. How did you do it? The biggest thing that I was able to share with this person is that there's two ways to get on these big platforms, the NFT NYC, the NFTLA, and other big platforms. I'm talking a lot about the NFT space because that's a space I've been in for the last year, and I know many of us have been as well. But there's so many other larger platforms outside the Web3 space. How do you get on those platforms? How do you build up to this point where now you get seen by hundreds of people, and you get heard, and you get these opportunities to connect? The biggest way in which you can do so, there's actually two. The first is to pay for those time slots, is to pay for that visibility. I know there's a lot of conferences in which people pay thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars to be seen on these platforms. And I know this for a fact because there was a particular stage in which I spoke at, and the way I was able to do so was because someone got sick. Someone got sick and I filled in that gap. But the person who got sick and paid for that time slot, they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for that particular position. And so unless you're sponsored, or unless your brand is rolling in the money, it might be difficult for you to get to that position where you can pay for those time slots. The second way in which you can get visibility, and in fact, you can get on these stages and gain massive visibility, is to get media attention for your brand. It's to have a media presence. It's to have a presence online so that when your name or when your brand is Googled, things will show up. Because believe it or not, when those stakeholders are searching for people to have on their stages, they're definitely doing a Google search. They're looking to see what this particular person has to offer. What kind of community have they built out? Are people already Googling them? Are people already connected? Do people even know who this person is? And if the answer is no, then they might not want to have you on their massive stage. And so this is why it's so important to, from the very beginning, dial in your media presence so that you show up when someone Googles your name. And even if you're not looking to speak on stages, there could be opportunities in terms of working with clients, big clients, or collaboration opportunities in which someone might Google your name and want to know more about you outside of your website, outside of your social media. And if there's no media presence, if no one's talking about you in the third sense, if it's not just you talking about yourself, then there's no credibility. There's a lack of credibility. So this is just a couple reasons why media attention matters. More eyes equal more eyes. The more eyes you get, the more eyes you get. The more visibility you get, the more it's a ripple effect. So the more people see you, the more and more people see you, and it just becomes this exponential growth for you and your brand. And it all starts with getting that first article and the next article, and getting that, building that media exposure makes more people actually want to cover you. Go figure. So the first way to get media attention is to make a golden media blast. Many people might know this as a press release. I call it a golden media blast. And the way in which you're going to do so is to understand that everything that you do in your business can be newsworthy if you say it in the right way. Something that people will actually not only want to read, but will actually get approved on various press release platforms. I have a whole template that I've created for you all today on how to craft a press release that will get approved and will go out on press release platforms. Press releases allow you to officially showcase what you've got going on. As soon as you put out a press release, it becomes official. It's more than just an advertisement on your social media page. It's an official document that showcases what you're going on, what you have going on. And secondly, press releases can get picked up by larger platforms. Did you know that? Did you know that press releases can get picked up by larger platforms? You can put out your own press release and other larger platforms can see that press release and then push it out on their own platform. This is something that can't be done on social media. Yes, you can share what you have going on and others can share it on their platforms, but this takes it to a whole nother level. It becomes a global way for you to share an official document of what you have going on. And what's so important here is that you're actually writing it. You don't have to wait for some other media journalist to come around and say, hey, can I showcase what you have going on? No, you are actually showcasing what you have going on your own. So not only is it an official showcase, other larger platforms can feature you, but it also sets you up to create a Wikipedia. So I know this might not be something that you thought of in the past, but I want you all to think about this for the future. If you're growing your brand to the point people actually know who you are, then having a Wikipedia should be something that's on your brain. When you're creating your Wikipedia, it has to be an official document. And it can't be a press release that you put out yourself. It has to be a press release that's been put out or pushed out by a larger platform. So this is why it's important to that second point that I shared. Press releases can get picked up by larger platforms. So you can showcase what you have going on, and it could be an official document. And it can't be a press release that you put out yourself. It has to be a press release that's been put out or pushed out by a larger platform. So this is why it's important to that second point that I shared. Press releases can get picked up by larger platforms. So you can showcase what you have going on. And it could be anything from as small as, oh, I'm hosting a workshop. I'm hosting a workshop on this particular day. And you say all the details of what that workshop entails. Again, it needs to be newsworthy information. You holding a workshop is newsworthy information if you word it in the right way. So now you have all of this documentation of what you've done. You have that you've hosted this workshop, that you spoke on this platform, that you built this particular tool, that you've launched this particular product, that you've created this particular animation piece, and it's all officially documented in a press release. And then that press release has been picked up by bigger news media platforms, so it's even more official. And then you can create a wiki that goes through the timestamp of the growth of your brand. So this is something to get really excited about, because press releases, you make them yourself, and then it has the potential to get picked up by bigger brands. So this can give you massive media exposure, especially if you're doing this on a continuous basis. And the kicker here is that it's free. It's free to push out your own press release. Yes, there's certain things that you can pay for to expand that exposure, but initially you can just start pushing out press releases for free. And the template that I have to share with you will guide you through on how to create an effective press release. And it'll also include an example of a press release that I've crafted in the past. It got picked up by a bigger outlet. So this actually works, and I'm really excited for you to try it for your brand as well. So just a couple points on how to create this press release before we go on to the second way in which you can get media attention for your brand. It needs to be newsworthy information. It cannot be pitchy. It has to be uniquely worded, meaning that no other piece of information or content out there is worded in the same way. It can't be a copy and paste type of thing. It can't have all caps, which is also called hype text. We see that a lot on social media. Can't have exclamation marks, and it needs to be written in a journalistic style. So it needs to be very matter of fact in the third person. So this is happening on this date. This is what's happening. This is the information that will be shared on this particular date, and this is how you can join. And again, the template that I have to share with you will give you a step-by-step way on how to craft your press release, where to go submit that press release, and an example of a past press release that I've not only submitted, got approved, but also got picked up by a larger media outlet. The next way in which you can get media attention for your brand, number 2, is to pitch directly to media. Now we're going to go over how you can actually pitch directly to journalists. This is a platform called Help a Reporter Out, or HARO. HARO connects journalists who are seeking expertise from experts like you and me to create their content. They're looking for sources. You go to this platform, create a login, select I'm a source, you create your profile, and then you would immediately get pushed out emails, 3 emails a day that you get Monday through Friday, with opportunities to get featured like in these massive articles. For example, Fox was in one on Friday. Fox News was looking one on Friday. Fox News was looking for information on a particular piece of content, and they're looking for sources that had that information. You'll be taken to a screen like this. This is the most important part, the HARO preferences. This is essentially where you tell HARO what you're specialized in. This master HARO signs you up for all of them. So if you click Master HARO, you'll start getting emails from journalists asking for sources. They're asking for your expertise so that they can use you as a source. This is an incredible way to get featured in media for your particular expertise. Okay. I want to share with you an example of an email from HARO. It's Monday afternoon edition because, again, they have multiple editions that go out throughout the day. They break it down into the different topics. I'm going to scroll through. And then in the parentheses, you can also see the platform that is actually looking for that source. You can scroll down and again and see these major platforms. There's so many different topics and a lot of big platforms that are looking for experts. Let's look at Squarespace website owner to share opinion on the website builder, right? Many of us have probably used Squarespace. So they're looking for someone like you or me who's used this platform to share their opinion on Squarespace. And you can see that the particular journalist who's asking for this, her name's Emma. You can see her email. Now you can email out a pitch sharing your expertise. And you can also see what it is that she's asking for. So you would respond to this pitch answering all these questions. Once she reviews what you've pitched, and if it's in alignment with what it is that she's looking for, then she would feature you in Website Builder Expert is that media outlet specifically. So you'd get an immediate feature in this Website Builder Expert platform. How easy is that? And so if you were to receive these emails, a couple of them a day, and you were to pitch at least one of these journalists a day, imagine how much massive exposure you would get for your brand. And again, this is a free platform. So those are 2 massive free ways in which you can get media attention for your brand: creating your own press releases and then pitching journalists who are looking for experts like you to be featured on their platform. Once they email you back saying, yes, I would love to feature you, you can make that direct connection with that source. There's been so many times where I've pitched out a pitch to a particular journalist, and then they come back to me directly asking me specifically for my expertise. So they didn't want to go through HARO anymore. They don't need to go through HARO. They know that they already found the experts, so they just reach out directly to you. So you can make that connection with a specific journalist so you can get featured regularly, on their media platforms. I want to take the time to go over some media alternatives There are three main media alternatives. Many of us are familiar with stages, like virtual and in-person stages. And if stages have a marketing budget, they're marketing for you. So this is an important question to ask when you say yes to speak on a stage. If it's a small stage, as long as there's a marketing budget, not only do you get that practice and opportunity to speak to a new audience, but you also get free publicity. So that's not something to keep in mind. When it comes to podcasts are evergreen content. So they will forever exist. Even after the podcast stops taping, your podcast episode will forever exist on Spotify or YouTube or whatever platform that podcast went on. So that's something to keep in mind. That's massive exposure because you're on somebody else's platform. If someone Googles you, you will show up because you've been featured on that podcast. Twitter Spaces. Twitter Spaces could be evergreen as well if the space is recorded. When I led a space with Lauren Turton, we would record those spaces and push them out as podcasts as well. So there's a lot of potential there with podcasts, Twitter Spaces, and in-person virtual stages as well. One thing that I really enjoy, though, is blogs. Blogs don't require you to show up in real time, and they feature your expertise. They may be more personable than larger media outlets, depending on your relationship with the host. Start looking into being featured on blogs because of that personability of the blogs and the ability for you to show up in your own time. Let's Blow Gold Inner Circle is a platform that I built out to house your profile on our platform, letsflowgold.io. We have 100 plus monthly visitors, so you're getting immediate eyes on what it is you're building. You get featured in our blogs. One mistake I made when I was first starting out was that I wasted time building my website. No visitors came because I had no established media presence and no leads. So this solves the problem of obscurity from the very beginning. You get immediate eyes, continuous exposure, workshop style meetings to help develop these media pitches, your outreach strategy, and all of the components of building a media presence. That leads us to our last slide here. We've gone over a lot today, but I want to make sure that you get the opportunity to get the Golden Blast template to create your press releases and start getting featured on other people's platforms. So all you have to do is go to bit.ly/media blast, or if you have your phone handy, you can take a picture of that QR code. But again, it's bit.ly/media blast. So you can get that template and start building that press release to get media exposure.
Hi! Hello! Hey, you audacious faces! I'm Anne-Marie Alanis, and I'm an artist, performer, and storyteller. And I'll be sharing my art and a personal and cautionary tale about mistaken love, betrayal, and courage as a speaker at AWEDACITY 2024. AWEDACITY 2024!
Hey y'all, Heather Parody here, and I am so excited to be joining you this year at the AWEDACITY conference. Last year was so powerful, and this year's theme on dreaming bigger, setting audacious goals, and having the courage to take action on them, man, it gets me all kinds of fired up. So can't wait.
Tomorrow, I'm speaking at AWEDACITY 2024 Virtual Women's Empowerment Conference. Join me in the virtual world to engage with my art, hear my story, and meet some amazing speakers. Join me tomorrow on Saturday for the AWEDACITY Summit. Let's go!
tell us what is audacity in your own words?
Oh my gosh. Audacity. I mean, literally, so much empowerment, daring attitude, and opportunities for women by women across the world, expressing themselves for who they are. And I mean, wow, it's just so amazing. I mean, back then, many years ago, events like these never happened. But nowadays, they are. And women deserve to rule the world. Men have had their share. I mean, bye bye, boys. Women are gonna take their own stand. I mean, bam, they're knocking down doors.
Hi there, I'm Rainbow Marshall. I'm a teenage artist, author, and advocate, along with so many other things on the autism spectrum. I love to let colors and creating stuff along with making art guide me through life. And I also love the things I'm learning and knowing that I have to respect them in life, such as wildlife, plants, being out in nature, and of course my latest obsession, reading books. I am deeply in love with the book 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and the stories of Greek myths and folklore. And I can really connect with them as a person, knowing that they give me so much inspiration.
Can you please share how did you discover your passion for art and writing?
Well, art and writing, along with the magic of storytelling, has always been a part of my life. And of course, I did get my artistic skill from my dad. And when I was young, I have always loved making art and drawing cute little stories of my own, even based off on the stories I have heard and seen. But I've always wondered to myself, has anyone ever made a story about people like me? And so I decided to make my own stories. And of course, there were moments that big publishers didn't accept my stories due to adultism and lack of open-mindedness. But the thing is, I am not giving up so easily, and me and my mom are knocking on the doors really hard, showing what we're capable of, mostly what I'm capable of, and knowing that I can be included in a vast, diverse universe with people like me.
Can you please tell us how has autism inspired your creativity?
Well, the thing with autism is that, yeah, I can be a bit of an oddball sometimes, but I deeply admire being an oddball, and throughout my life, I have been oppressed for who I am and have been forced to be ladylike and more human. And of course, I used to go through a major anxiety crisis for a few years, thinking that if I acted more ladylike and human, I would be accepted. But then I realized that I was hurting myself by not accepting for who I am. And the way how autism has majorly influenced my life is learning from my struggles, challenges, and the heartbreaks I have been through, and just fully embracing what life has to offer, even though I may feel afraid, depressed, too lazy, and completely bored sometimes. But I am very grateful that I have teachers and mostly good friends and family members that'll push me out of my comfort zone, but not in the forceful way, in the very good way. And I'm very happy that I'm accepted for who I am. And I gotta say thank you so much for my parents for creating me.
Can you please share why is Web3 a source of learning and growth?
The reason why it's been such a source of learning and growth for me is because of my wonderful nosy mom always knocking down doors. And 2 years ago, she opened up an account for me, and Web3 has been very, 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 very supportive and respectful, along with being very welcoming towards me. And I have been given various opportunities to exhibit my art, and I still have amazing art projects that I'm planning on publishing and creating on my iPad. And I'm just so grateful that I'm part of a digital community, that I get to make friends with people and also share our thoughts and information and really connect with one another and share our ideas for the world and express ourselves for who we are instead of pretending to be something we're not.
Can you tell us what is audacity in your own words?
Oh my gosh. Audacity. I mean, literally, so much empowerment, daring attitude, and opportunities for women by women across the world, expressing themselves for who they are. And I mean, Wow, it's just so amazing. I mean, back then, many years ago, events like these never happened. But nowadays they are, and women deserve to rule the world. Men have had their share. I mean, bye-bye, boys. Women are gonna take their own stand. I mean, bam, they're knocking down doors.
Can you share important and meaningful individuals in Web3 that have brought you wonderful experiences or discoveries and tell us why?
Well, there is Flower Girls with Favara Alai, Nika Yani, Anna Skates, who I see her as my godmama, Women in Tech Museum, and Moon Mars Museum. The reason why I treasure these people so dearly in my heart is because they have given me wonderful opportunities and exposing my art to the whole world and the rest of the entire unknown universe, which is very amazing and welcoming, and I really appreciate that. I'm just so happy that I'm being exposed and regaining a lot of help from very supportive and respectful people that I owe a lot to, and I'm just so happy to call them part of my chosen family, and I gotta say thank you so much, you guys.
Now, I've been told that you have donated art before. Why do you do that?
Well, I really do love doing donations and charity for good causes, such as Troglodyte Society in Sierra Leone for the stopping the kidnapping and the rape that goes on with girls of all types, young and old, and Save the Rhinos, which I made a beautiful piece of art as part of a good cause to help an endangered species from going extinct. And of course, Sebastian Alonso, which I made a beautiful piece of art for his new album cover, which he does beautiful songs and amazing singing and music for his album, that he expresses his life through autism and how he is reviving his soul from the pain. And I just gotta say that whenever I have the opportunity to do donations and charity work that help the world and other people in need, I feel very good of myself. And even though I am given a lot of opportunities, and even though I can sometimes be a little bit spoiled, that doesn't mean I don't have responsibility and empathy for others, and I am always looking forward to do things for good causes and to help make this world a better place one step at a time.
As a teen and artist who has opportunities, discoveries, good experiences, but you also have a fair share of challenges and difficulties in society, in school. What would you share with youth at your age who may be facing similar situations?
I just gotta say that youth nowadays, even back then many years ago, have always faced challenges with adultism, pressure from peers, family and friends, even other adults, and so many other challenges, even discrimination for who they are, what they look like, where they come from, and how they personally identify themselves. I just gotta say, do not let that crap get all over you. And even though the world is gonna turn you down just for being youth and for you being yourself, it's not fair, and you gotta take a stand for what's right. And of course, there are gonna be some people who will never support and respect you, but there are gonna be others who will. And you don't need to get praise and attention from everybody. Just look for the praise and attention by those who give you unconditional support, respect, and care. And of course, even in your own school systems, you may never receive support, just like how I did when I was given the lack of education. And I was interviewed by a reporter, who she is really nice, on the Nashville scene, and the story of me and my mom battling the unfair realities in my school system is very important. And I just gotta say thank you to the Nashville scene for supporting and letting my story be heard. And I just gotta say that youth also need to take a stand for themselves, and they cannot let any adult or other person or the entire world go down against them, and they just gotta take a rise. The harder you fall, the higher you are gonna fly.
Could you tell us how art and literature and Web3 can help promote understanding and acceptance of individuals with disabilities, abilities, and different diagnoses?
Well, what I can say is that when it comes to struggling, whether it's based off on your diagnosis, special needs, or disability, and many other factors in life, you just have to find what inspires you and create something wonderful, whether it's a song, a soundtrack, or a piece of music, a book, or a piece of art. Even graffiti can help express how you truly feel and who you are as a human being instead of letting yourself be labelized. And what has really helped me express myself and go up against the cruel reality of society is showing my spiritual strength as an artist on the autism spectrum, and learning not to let society run all over me, and also advocating for myself and helping others advocate for themselves. It just has to take one tiny whisper to become a giant voice that will be heard and stretched across the entire world. All great voices start with a whisper.
Now, can you share about your hopes and aspirations for the future?
Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, and all y'all streaming services. I am literally making art and stories for people of all skin colors, hair textures, genders, personal identifications of all types from all across the world in various different ways, into amazing stories that have to be heard no matter what the age or personality may be, whether it's from near or far, all over the world. Please, you gotta make my stories into wonderful movies or series that'll be known for generations. And it's important that I have partnership with you, because I can help give out amazing suggestions and ideas of who can be included for these stories, because I want all types of people to be included instead of just one certain specific group. And yeah, it's important that young kids, especially if they're watching channels like PBS Kids and or other services with their families, should learn about diversity and inclusion of all types, even though it's not going to be the same, but that's okay. And it's important that we also express our flaws, and being flawless is just a myth. And yeah, let's bring inclusion and equity, people. What are we waiting for? Let's go! And another thing I would like to mention is that when I continue to grow up as a person for who I am, I really want my stories to be exposed more, and I really want to be a part among the giants who give us so many inspiration. And I not only do I want to walk among big people who have a lot of fame and inspiration for the world, but I also want to help give inspiration to all types of people, and also want to let them know that their voices can be heard and understood over time. And that's what's important, that diversity matters instead of staying on one topic. My mom also says that since I love to express myself and demand for inclusion and diversity, including equity, I should be my very own politician. And I agree with her. I mean, yeah, she is very right on that part. And of course, for my future, I want to have my own petition to say these people of all types deserve to have rights to be included. And also, I want to go places and travel a lot to spread my voice. And number 3, to have the chance for my dad to live with me, so we won't have to be far away from each other, and that we need each other so much. and I love him, and I gotta thank him for giving me my artistic creative skill. And yeah, I'm gonna be going places one day, people. See ya. Oh, and one more thing. Nathania and Stephanie from Audacity, you girls just rule so much, and thank you so much for the audacity you've thrown into my life. You bring so much value into our lives.
Hi! Hello! Hey, you audacious faces! I'm Anne-Marie Alanis, and I'm an artist, performer, and storyteller. And I'll be sharing my art and a personal and cautionary tale about mistaken love, betrayal, and courage as a speaker at Audacity 2024. Audacity 2024!
Hey y'all, Heather Parody here, and I am so excited to be joining you this year at the Audacity conference. Last year was so powerful, and this year's theme on dreaming bigger, setting audacious goals, and having the courage to take action on them, man, it gets me all kinds of fired up. So can't wait.
Tomorrow, I'm speaking at Audacity 2024 Virtual Women's Empowerment Conference. Join me in the virtual world to engage with my art, hear my story, and meet some amazing speakers. Join me tomorrow on Saturday for the Audacity Summit. Let's go!
us what is audacity in your own words?
Oh my gosh. Audacity. I mean, literally, so much empowerment, daring attitude, and opportunities for women by women across the world, expressing themselves for who they are. And I mean, wow, it's just so amazing. I mean, back then, many years ago, events like these never happened. But nowadays, they are. And women deserve to rule the world. Men have had their share. I mean, bye-bye, boys. Women are gonna take their own stand. I mean, bam, they're knocking down doors.
I can't believe that, Audacity Summit is finally here. So for the people who don't know me, I'm Teresa Melvin. Hello, everyone. I'm a 14-year-old artist, and I'm super excited to introduce myself as the creator, the creative mind behind Ava Ramona. And that's my two original characters, which I created once I was like 9 or 11. And I also created and am the host of Art and Chat, which is a YouTube live series featuring artists from around the world. So I'll talk about that more in a second. And I've had the pleasure of being awarded Creator of the Year by MetAms, an international Web3 event in Amsterdam. And that was like super exciting for me. And I can't believe I'm getting the opportunity to speak here. I want to share with you guys my story, how I started out as an artist, and how I went into the journey of becoming a digital artist in the Web3 space. So before we jump too ahead, let me tell you a story about when I was 5 years old. Um, Art has always been a part of my life ever since I was young, and that's thanks to my artistic parents. I was always like surrounded by paints and canvases, and even as a toddler, I would use oil pastels and like paint color pencils to draw and tell my stories. And especially through characters, I loved drawing characters, and that's the part of me that has always sticked. And at just 5 years old, my artworks were featured in a popular Indian movie, and that sparked my passion just at that young age for creating characters and stories that resonated with me and others. So every time I create a new artwork, um, I'm thinking of not only how does it connect with, myself, but how can I express myself to others, and how to like connect with others through my artworks. So I enjoy experimenting with different art mediums like gouache, Prismacolor, acrylic paints, watercolors. And since I was 9 years old, I ventured into digital art using tools like Procreate, Adobe Fresco, and Flip-a-Clip. And I've also heard of Procreate Dreams, so I'm starting to step into that, and I want to learn more about what Procreate Dreams is all about. So, how did I get into Web3? In 2021, which was like the COVID times, we were all stuck in our houses, I remember. And I was just drawing all day in my sketchbook, in my iPad. And that's when my dad introduced to me what NFTs and Web3 was. And that really ignited my passion for art. I felt like there was a way forward with creating more art and doing that for the rest of my life, or exploring different things with art. So I've gotten inspired by many projects like, Cool Cats and Robotos. And I wanted to connect with and inspire fellow young artists in the Web3 community. So over 2+ years, I worked hard to improve my skills and learn professional tools, and do collaborations with renowned Web3 projects. And my presence in the Web3 space, it really opened doors for me to amazing opportunities, and that made me like a confident and happy artist. Um, I was able to find my voice in the Web3 space and find people like me, kid artists, um, professional creative entrepreneurs. It's really like a very diverse community, but we're all interested in about how the future will evolve in this digital realm. So far, I've created my project, Ava Ramona, and to create that project, I wanted to, learn about how to be, established as a creative entrepreneur, and how to make an NFT project. And yeah, the journey has been truly magical. So far, I've created and sold over 1,000 one-of-a-kind artworks in a lot of marketplaces like Super Rare, Foundation, Zora, OpenSea, and Campfire. And next week, I'm thinking of doing an artwork in Tezos. So that's going to be exciting. Um, so far in the Web3 space, I've had the pleasure of being featured as an artist in many IRL and virtual events like this one, including NFT NYC, Make a Foundation International, and with Flower Girls NFT, Miss So Cool Girls, and so many more. I was able to collaborate with many projects. And additionally, I've had my artworks exhibited at Blockchain Summit London, Basel Miami, Dubai Expo, Supermint NFT LA, NFT Bali, basically kind of all over the world, I guess. And as a speaker, I was able to grow my skill as a speaker. I used to be, an introverted kid. So you would think, how did an introverted kid evolve into, being confident enough to speak in front of many people through the digital space or IRL. And through going to many Twitter spaces and IRL events, I realized that more than, being perfect about, the phrases I say or being perfect about my artwork, it's more about sharing my experiences with others and learning from others, which is like the most important thing that I've learned. And as a speaker, I've been to all of these events, and apart from my artistic endeavors, I'm also passionate about teaching other kid artists. And that's why I've created tutorial videos on Instagram and, small clips on YouTube about Procreate. And I have a video on Biddle, which is an educational platform for kids from Miss So Cool Girls. And you'll see more tutorial videos coming in my YouTube channel pretty soon. I also have a YouTube live series called Art and Chat, which I mentioned earlier. And through the YouTube live series, my goal is to connect with amazing artists from around the world and, get their insights about, the future of art and how their life is as, a creative professional. And and that's also how I can connect with others through making art, because in the YouTube live, I create art and they create art, and we basically talk about that process. So it's really exciting. And I'm planning another YouTube live pretty soon. I also, thanks to Hug, I've also created an Ava Ramona jigsaw puzzle, and that's in their shop. So I'm really grateful for that, to see my characters more than just becoming 2D characters online, but also as real physical items with the power of digital art. So that's really exciting. And more about Ava Ramona. I created that 1K generative art collection in AVAX blockchain in August of 2023. And that's an exclusive collection of 1,000 limited editions. And through that project, I want to introduce to the world my unique characters, Ava and Ramona. These two really shaped my journey as an artist, and I was able to express my emotions, my passions through these fictional characters. So these characters were made when I was 9 and 11 years old, so they've stuck with me for that long of a time. And with the Ava Ramona project, I'm donating 10% of each primary sale to Adobe for Kids. And that's an initiative dedicated to providing digital devices for deserving children. So my goal with Ava Ramona is to spread this opportunity to other kids who might be better artists than me, and give them a chance to create as well. So I also want to talk about, my art workshop and solo exhibition. And my first solo exhibition happened last year in November, and that was truly one of the highlights of 2023. I was able to showcase my artworks from the last 2 years, my digital artworks, in the exhibition in a cafe. And at that same place, I was able to create an art workshop for kids that were my age, younger, and that was super exciting. And in the art workshop IRL, I teach kids about how to create a very simple character. And I was thinking how everyone, all the age ranges from a toddler to a teen, could be interested in it. But what I learned was no matter what age, art will forever be a way to connect to each other and share our experiences and ideas. Um, and seeing everyone's finished artworks of the characters, I was amazed at how many different interpretations each kid had. And hearing every kid's story and personality behind their drawing, it reminded me of when I started drawing my own characters. And that was, it really made me more passionate to want to do more art workshops. So I might do some more in the future, and I'm really excited about that. Um, and as a teenager and going to school, I have to manage multiple things, including homework. So being organized was very much a needed thing if I wanted to stay active in art and social media and also enjoy the process. That's an important thing. So my dad introduced me to new tools that I wasn't familiar with. I thought they were a bit complicated, but they were Notion and Trello. But over the years, as I started using these tools, planning my projects, and my tasks on them, I guess it really made me more like organized, because I'm not really an organized person. But yeah, it really helped me with that process with time management. So every day now I follow two things of high priority, and that helps me solve one problem at a time. So if you're someone struggling with many tasks, many projects at a time, taking things slow and completing one thing at a time is really useful. And as an artist, I would say it doesn't matter whether you complete an artwork, a final artwork, posted or minted. It not like every day. I think the important thing is you need to create something every day, whether it's a small doodle, some scribble scrabble, or if it's like a very colorful artwork. I would say just creating every day, so your sketchbook is filled with crazy ideas, thoughts, doodles, whatever comes to mind. And that's how I create my art. Whenever I have a gap, or I feel like I want to draw something, I might see something in a movie and I'm like, oh, I want to draw that. Then why don't you draw it? So I would say whenever you feel that spark, just note it down as much as possible. And that's how you're able to like grow your ideas into creating final artworks. So some doodles, some sketches, that might turn into final artworks, or that might just stay in your sketchbook. But I enjoy both processes. Um, and I believe that, our brains are like a storehouse of creativity and imaginations, but you have to keep a practice of documenting these ideas into a sketchbook or a Notion, whatever tool you use, whenever that sparks. And one example I had was, in my sketchbook, one day I woke up and I had like a crazy dream. My first instinct was to draw it in my sketchbook. So it might be it's very messy sketches, but now I'll remember that dream for a long time. And that even might inspire me to create more future final artworks. And for me, Ava Ramona, my two characters, Ava and Ramona, that used to be, just a figment of my imagination. But by creating them on paper, on digital art, and with the power of Web3 art, and lots of support and empowerment from friends and mentors in Web3, I was able to make Ava Ramona a real thing, a real project, which I could, evolve with. Um, so these are my two, key rules, is to experiment and create every day. And these are the two things that make me happy and might inspire you in the future as well. So come out of your comfort zone, try different mediums, try new tools. And if you're an introverted person like me, and I'm able to speak today and connect with more people, I think anyone can do it. I think anyone can do what they are passionate about and what they love if, you make it into reality. So you might know I'm not present on social media, 24/7, but what I've learned is it's okay to go at your own pace and create what you love. The core thing, posting on social media or being an influencer is not just to keep in mind that you have to keep on creating art, but more like create what you love is the most important thing. Never lose that like touch of creating what you love through your artworks. And yeah, that's how I guess I try to avoid burnout of creating a lot of artworks. I'm just at my own pace doing what I love, and slowly growing into maybe my future art career. So yeah, my all-time mission, I would say, is to learn every day and share every day whatever I learn. And that's a key thing. I'm not trying to hide anything. I want to share my experiences and my story with other kid artists, basically anyone. And this is how I learn from others as well. So I really love doing these talks and hearing these talks from other people. So what am I doing now and what am I doing in the future? I know I was not able to sell out my entire Ava Ramona collection, but I will be donating, part of my sales to Adobe for Kids. And I'm also working on a portrait series in Foundation doing portraits. And I've done my first portrait of Betty, founder of Dead Fellas. And with that portrait series, I want to raise fund for the Adobe for Kids initiative as well. And something super exciting is I'll be interviewing some amazing artists in my Art and Chat YouTube live sessions. And I'm super excited for that. I've been talking to an amazing artist, and I think you guys will be surprised. But yeah, I have some artists in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that. I'm also, exploring different things in digital art these days. So I'm planning more art tutorials to come, and some interesting collaborations, which I'll announce soon. And as I said, my first artwork in Tezos will be coming soon, probably next week. Also, I'm experimenting with a lot of like digital and physical AI artworks this year. That's my main focus, to expand, I guess, my art into a lot of different mediums. I think that's important. If you're in art or in any field, experiment with different things, try new things, see what sticks, see what doesn't stick. So I'm really interested to explore ideas and art which are connected to fine art and tech. And I think that's the way we're going to move forward. Technology really enhances, I guess, an artist or whoever you are, a creator. It gives you, a place to shine or connect with others with the same experiences as yours. And that's why I really love this space. So thank you so much for listening, everybody. I really appreciate it. And if you want to connect with me, you can find my Ava Ramona collection, which is www.avaramona.art. And you can follow me on my socials, Instagram and Twitter, Teresa Melvin Art. So thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. I couldn't be more grateful. And I'm so, grateful for, the virtual gallery I have now of Ava Ramona through Audacity. So thank you so much. It's like a dream come true.
Hi! Hello! Hey, you audacious faces! I'm Anne-Marie Alanis, and I'm an artist, performer, and storyteller. And I'll be sharing my art and a personal and cautionary tale about mistaken love, betrayal, and courage as a speaker at Audacity 2024. Audacity 2024!
Hey y'all, Heather Parody here, and I am so excited to be joining you this year at the Audacity conference. Last year was so powerful, and this year's theme on dreaming bigger, setting audacious goals, and having the courage to take action on them, man, it gets me all kinds of fired up. So can't wait.
Tomorrow, I'm speaking at Audacity 2024 Virtual Women's Empowerment Conference. Join me in the virtual world to engage with my art, hear my story, and meet some amazing speakers. Join me tomorrow on Saturday for the Audacity Summit. Let's go!
us what is audacity in your own words?
Oh my gosh. Audacity. I mean, literally, so much empowerment, daring attitude, and opportunities for women by women across the world, expressing themselves for who they are. And I mean, wow, it's just so amazing. I mean, back then, many years ago, events like these never happened. But nowadays, they are. And women deserve to rule the world. Men have had their share. I mean, bye bye, boys. Women are gonna take their own stand. I mean, bam, they're knocking down doors.
So my name is Wildy Martinez. Um, Many know me as Wildflower or Wildflower Fields. I try to make that my artist name, but Wildy is my actual name. Some people pronounce it as Wildy, but I am Dominican American, and my name is pronounced in Spanish. So I was born and raised in New York City. I knew right away since I was 6 that I wanted to be a fashion designer. I was really blessed to know that that's what I wanted to do, because one day I saw shiny dresses twirling in a window display, and I told my mom that I wanted to make dresses. And really lucky that my parents saw that in me and really supported that decision by, encouraging me to draw and buy me supplies. And at the age of 12, I ended up applying to a specialized high school called Fashion Industries. And I got in, and for 4 years of high school, I was doing fashion already and doing shows in New York City. So that led me going into FIT. I still love fashion, so I kept going. And that really led up to almost 20 years working as a fashion designer in New York, in the fashion industry. And I'm sure as many of you, when 2020 came along, our worlds, turned upside down. Mine did, because I got laid off. Luckily, I one of my freelance jobs that I did for with a friend became my full-time job, and that one was a very purposeful job, because we supplied employment to women rescued from sex trafficking. So I always loved using like fashion and art to help women, women in crisis at that, and doing advocacy for anti-sex trafficking. So it was a very heart emotional work to do, because it was real women and real lives, and we would joke around like, one t-shirt can save a life, because it literally did provide for women in Nepal to have jobs with dignity. Anyway, so I was doing that. However, time was slower. I wasn't going into an office for 12 hours a day. And there was a lot of things happening. And I decided to um, go back into creating art for myself, for therapy, for healing. And I was doing a lot of art about colorism and expressing how that affected me growing up. And this is where my journey of self-embrace really started. um, Questioning things like why, about certain things in my culture that were I grew up listening to that weren't right. And that led me to really like embracing my African heritage. And I was like, I am an I want to be able to celebrate this part of my life too, that my culture necessarily doesn't really embrace. And I know Lemni is here; she's Dominican, and maybe a few of you have grown up with colorism and kind of the confusion, or just the internal war about who are we and who we identify as, and the things that perhaps are not celebrated being kind of not played up. So I used to straighten my hair before, and to blend in, and it's like that internal war, especially as women, of fighting to be unique, but then that fear that comes with like, what if we stand out too much. um, Around that time in 2021, I joined Web3, and that's when this conflict and this insecurity of mine of being comfortable with my own skin, that's when I kind of brought it to the forefront. And that's when I created an art piece called Wildflower 38. I had turned 38 at that time, and it was a fashion illustration with vitiligo on it. And vitiligo is a skin condition that removes melanin. So it's autoimmune, and it removes the melanin from your skin. So I actually was brown, and I lost all my pigmentation. And I actually that journey began when I was 25 years old. So I wasn't born with it. So that led to a lot of emotional distress. Whoever has any skin diversity or diagnosis, it's something that you can control, but you cannot. And because I worked in the industry, I felt that pressure of looking a certain way. So I actually was hiding that I had it for many years. I would put a lot of makeup on my hands. That's where my melanin left first. I would just dress. I would put scarves on. I hid for a good 10 years of my life. And that piece, Wildflower 38, was me telling the world, I'm done hiding. I don't want to hide anymore. And I'm putting it on an artwork and I'm sharing my story of having vitiligo. And that's when everything changed for me because I didn't realize how many people have it too. Obviously, it's definitely more normalized now than it was 10 years ago. Um, I would have conversations on X, Twitter, with moms with kids that had it, and how to navigate through that. And also just women who had other like insecurities or things that brought them shame come up to me and feel like they could related to my story and they felt seen, and that catapulted, I guess, my journey into celebrating diversity and shining the light on vitiligo. So I add vitiligo to a lot of my art pieces. I open up the dialogue around what it is to enter the journey of self embrace. I call it the art of self embrace, embracing those things as women that we maybe feel like are ugly or are like, not how the standard beauty is, or it doesn't fall in, it doesn't align with what the beauty standards are of today. And how can we disrupt that, especially as women in tech? How can we keep disrupting these norms that are not actually norm? And how can we tell the world that it's full of color, it's full of uniqueness, and it's full of we're just we have to keep fighting that narrative, especially as women. We're already such a small percentage here in the Web3 community, here in tech, even in the art industry, even in fashion, like especially in fashion. How can we change the narrative so that the young generation doesn't have that pressure that we've grown up with, especially if you are a millennial or older than that, like I grew up in the 90s, just all these standards that were unrealistic. Um, and because I'm still working in fashion, when AI fashion came around, I was like, oh, I need to do this if this is the next thing in fashion. I found it such a serendipitous that a 360 moment happened where I went back into fashion using AI. And I joined, I'm one of the competitors for AI Fashion Week, ended up being one of the finalists. And one of my concerns was the lack of diversity within AI. So if you add, any type of profession, doctor, teacher, it would not be a person of color that would be popping up. So I was like, oh, what if I put like, prompt vitiligo model? I even would put Winnie Harlow, and it just did not know how to generate vitiligo. So I learned how to train my own AI models to have vitiligo, and I'm one of the first designers in AI Fashion Week and finalists to have vitiligo community represented. And this is being seen like in Vogue, and I know there's still a lot of growth to be done. But one of the things that I wanted to encourage everyone that is here and listening is that usually the things that you have that are so different from everyone else, or that you feel like you don't know why you have it, or why me, like why did I get vitiligo, and I wasn't born with this thing, and I'm changing every day, why me? And definitely has has shifted quickly into what for, like what can I use this for? Is it for advocacy? Is it for just sharing my story? And I think it's pretty incredible that the thing that I felt so much shame over, the thing that I felt like was ugly or that I had to hide, is the thing that is being used today to help so many people that are like me. And that brings me so much joy. And it's also my why as to why I create art, why I create even fashion, though it may seem vain, like the fact that I'm the one creating it, and that through that maybe someone can discover my story and my why as to I create, that their lives can be impacted, especially little girls, who maybe look like me, can know that they can also be bold and be out there and create as well and make legacy. And I always say, if it's not done yet, then we're the ones meant to do the change. So if there wasn't vitiligo prompting, then I could do that. Let me figure it out. And that goes to everyone here today. If you see something that needs change, that is not representing your community, representing your culture, then this is definitely the moment to do it, to embark in that journey, however it may look like. And it is really just taking it step by step. So I really thank the Web3 community for, I think, for allowing me to giving me the space, I think, to express myself. I think Web3 is the only community that you can have like 500 hats and put it in one hub. One of the other stories that I wanted to share to encourage anyone here is about the actual power behind storytelling. So not just creating the art, but also sharing the story and being bold. It is maybe scary to jump on here and do a live, or maybe go on Instagram and do a story, or record yourself. But I think it's so important to raise up our voices and actually speak, whether it's writing. And I understand it is a scary thing, especially if you don't like public speaking or you're taking baby steps. But for a little forward movement is better than no forward movement at all. So one little movement you do for that goal to share your story, it is worth it. And one I went on a trip many years ago. I had vitiligo. I was trying so bad to cover it up, but it was in the Caribbean, in my country, Dominican Republic, and I was doing like charity work, helping out kids in the neighborhood and giving them gifts and like chatting with them. And it was like a 3-day event of charity work. And at the end of that event, each little kid would come up and say, "Thank you for this," or "Thank you for that," just thanking the organization for being there. And I remember one little girl went up there and she had said, "I want to thank," she said, she didn't say I want to thank, but she said something along, I can't remember, it's a long time ago, but she said, "I now know that I am beautiful." She had vitiligo. And she said, "And I know that I am beautiful because Miss Wildy is beautiful." And she must have seen that I had vitiligo on my hands. And that moment I knew that how we carry ourselves in midst of sickness or um, curveballs, and how we carry ourselves do impact the next generation. So you never know who's looking. And I encourage you all to be yourself, embrace all the things that you have, that especially when you're growing up, you're like, "Why do I have this? Why do I have," it's a reason why. And I assure you, someone else has it or someone else can relate to you. And it is a beautiful thing to add to the art of representation, and to be kind of like a a beacon of light for others to say, you know what, if she can do it or he can do it, I can do it too. And yeah, so I don't know if I should keep talking or anybody has anything to drop on the chat, let me know. Hi, Lemni. Hi, Gabe. And hi, everyone. I want to thank Natanya and Stephanie for doing this incredible event. What a beautiful venue. What an amazing concept. And I'm so proud to be part of being one of the artists of Audacity and being here in this amazing summit. Amazing. There's no questions coming in.
I'm just hopping in to say, since you have the On Cyber open, people can definitely just pop in with questions in the chat. So yeah, if there is any, I'm just saying they might. So since you are on Cyber as well, that's definitely an option. So if there is comments or questions that anybody wants to pose, use the chat box in the space on the left-hand corner. We'll just give that a few minutes. Yeah, so I'll step out just for that, but just for everybody to know.
Yeah, I'm here if you guys have any questions. Pretty cool. I do have, let me see, is anybody asking? Hi everyone. I'm on Cyber as well, and here on my on my computer. Oh, sure. So I went to Art Basel, and I was able to join Y3K Summit, and Cool Cats was there, and a few other amazing communities. And we actually went to in Miami and spoke to elementary students who are part of a program, and it was anti-suicide, bully discussion, and it was amazing. These kids, you know, we just never know, like the impact that we have over children, and just young, I would say ages 12, maybe 11, 12, 13, and they were able to open up about the things that they're going through, mental health, and it's incredible. And we basically there was a lot of artists there, and we spoke to them about using art as an outlet, right? When we are trying to let those emotions out, how we can use art and music. And it was a beautiful thing. I do want to say that we're going to do it again during NFT NYC in New York. It's actually going to be in Harlem Children's Museum, and we're going to be having some activation, showing them about Web3 and blockchain. I'm going to do some AI workshops with the kids, so I'm super looking forward to doing that. And then here, how do you see AI and fashion shifting in the future? I mean, it's already happening, and it is pretty insane. I think what's pretty cool is that maybe because I feel like I'm in both industries at the moment, I can see fashion actually being one of the ways where Web3 and blockchain become mainstream, because it's already happening. For some reason, AI tech is just like a smoother window into Web3. Like it becomes a little bit more like understandable why we would use this type of system or ecosystem to record information, especially in fashion. So one of the main examples that I'm seeing right now is Norma Kamali. She's an amazing American fashion designer, and she has trained AI to be her assistant to record her fashion designs throughout her 50-year career as a designer. So it's on a database, and instead of it being in a museum somewhere, it is in the blockchain and with AI, and it's pretty cool to see companies do that. I'm seeing a lot of editorial campaigns where it's all with AI. Digital Fashion Week now is becoming align with like New York Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week and Fashion Week in general, where there's an infusion of AR, VR, AI fashion. Steph Young, I don't want to mess up her name, but she's doing a crossover between physical and digital. Let's say the model is walking down, the runway, and you hover your phone and you can see the actual digital wearable on the model through your phone, through your glasses, if you own the Ray-Bans, or I'm sure Provision too, you're going to be able to see the show, and there's not actual real clothes on the model yet. So there's definitely already a huge movement. And then I see, yes, Gabe. I had a collaboration with my son Luther and Tezos. So my son has a NFT. I think we sold out already. We did 4 pieces. Whoever's been here for like 2 years or a little bit longer know that last year we were living on Twitter. I mean, I still am living on Twitter, but it was just the spaces. Like we were in spaces 24/7. My son was home with me, so I didn't want it to be where mommy is starting a new job and you're not involved. So I allowed him to like listen into safe spaces with me. He knows what NFTs are, and I said, would you want to create a collection together? And all the money goes to his fund, and these are actually his pieces of work back here, if you guys can see it. I don't know if you can. Oh, you can. He's an amazing artist. So I'm like, we could collaborate together. And he lent me all his beautiful abstracts, and we added fashion gals to them. And it's really fun. I had to tell my husband to take him out because he would be here with me doing this live as a little future artist that he is. Let me look over here. Do you have any idea on how to represent Dominicans? I think if you're a Dominican, you're the representation. Like it's showing up, talking about your culture, not being obviously no one being Dominican. Like we have so much pride over our culture. It's showing up and showing your unique story. Even I had a collaboration with Coffee Coin. If you guys have seen Coffee Coin, if you can apply, I encourage all artists to look into it. But we created a coffee bean together, and they put my art on the packaging, and then you buy the coffee, you get an NFT. And because coffee, if you're Dominican or Latino, is so important to us. Like I need coffee. I injected my story with my grandmother, my Dominican grandmother, and how one of my core memories with her is drinking coffee with her in Dominican Republic, and then drinking coffee with her here. And how I started drinking coffee when I was 7, because that's how Dominicans are. And I know my friends here can not leave me hanging. We're not lying. We drink coffee since, it's like a little bit of coffee and a lot of milk when you're young. But yeah, injecting these stories that are like, part of our upbringing, and adding them to, it doesn't need to be like a bold Dominican flag, but in your storytelling, there's going to be things that because of your upbringing is just going to seep through. So finding out ways to, I just found that coffee project was such a beautiful way for me to talk about my grandmother and celebrate that legacy and what she passed down to me. And then my other grandmother was a fashion designer, so I'm always bringing her up. That my mom always says that it skipped a gene, because my mom is not like creative, but that that I got the gene of I don't know, gene of fashion or like creativity. So always honoring them in interviews, or if you want to actually create a series. That's how I started. I created a series with Afro Dominican women, and talking about colorism and the history of colorism in DR, and it just kind of kept going and shifting. Um, um, how do I envision AI fashion in relation to fast fashion and climate issue? That's a great idea. So because I have a background professional in fashion, and I work for so many different. I work for fast fashion, mass fashion, high end. Something that happens a lot is wastage, fabric wastage. It is horrible. And one of the ways that I see AI fashion and 3D fashion changing that is by shortening the sample supply lifespan. So basically, when you design something, you need a sample, and the sample is in the fabric. And then you put that sample on the model. Oh, I need to make changes to it. So you request another sample. And then that sample is fit one. And then you fit that. Oh, it doesn't work. Oh, we're going to need another fit. And it's just like because I work from home, I have bins of fit samples that I don't know what to do with them. And it's so much waste because they're not perfect. And they're just adding to the landfill. And one of the ways I see AI fashion helping, I already see it. I mean, even with clients, is that AI fashion is so accurate to how it would look like without you having to make a sample, that the buyers can actually buy straight from that AI fashion, sketch. Also, because of 3D, you can fit your using AI. You can actually put the measurements of the fit model on the computer, so that when you create a fit sample, it probably is perfect, and you don't have to keep refitting. So I think from a landfill part of it, I see that being a solution where there's less fabric wastage. Because I've traveled, and unfortunately, there's just so much warehouses overseas that are just unfortunately full of fabric that are too old to sell, too old to use up. Yeah. So I think I skipped a few questions. Hold on a second. I'm trying to do both over here. So for my fashion, oh my God, there's so many questions. Sorry, guys. I use Midjourney and Runway. There's actually a few new apps that are coming out, like Refabric is a AI fashion tool that's solely for fashion, where Midjourney, you can use it for like so many crazy things that you create anything. So I've been reached out by a few newer that are really focusing on fashion design. So where the fabrications, you can be more specific with them. But so far it's Runway for my videos and my model training, Midjourney, and also I just started Comfy UI and Stable Diffusion. I also love illustrating by hand using Procreate, and then I actually feed that into I style reference that into Midjourney. So it's pretty cool that I can still sketch. I love sketching by hand, so it's pretty cool that I get to do that too. So yeah, so I wanted to say a few things that I get like frequently asked questions, is how to get started, or how to get your art featured or get collaborations. And I'm going to share from my personal experience, and it's going to probably sound so like, oh duh, but it's true. Like, I think sometimes as artists, we get too shy or too nervous to share our work, or to share our work in progress, or to share our concepts that we have, either because we think, oh, it's not ready yet, it's not perfect, so I'm not going to share that right now until it's perfect. I say share your process, share excuse me, where you are as an artist. Oh, I'm choking, I need water. I'm okay. Like, share everything. Don't wait for that perfect thing to share, because people enjoy seeing your process. And a lot of my partnerships, or when I apply to like open calls, especially through Hugs, which I think everybody knows now is killing it with crazy open calls. I've gotten so many opportunities because of that. Okay, excuse me. I'm gonna go get water. Stay right there. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm back. Cut and action. So share your imperfections. Share your your whips. Share like, hey, this is what I'm working on. Don't be afraid. Like, no one's gonna take your idea. Hopefully that. Share like how you're doing it. I believe that the more we share like our resources, I believe in energy, so I believe that comes back to us. And having like an abundant mindset and not scarcity. Like, if I share this, then it won't be enough for me. No, there's so much. There's so many things, and no one can do it like how you can do it. No one can replicate your voice, your DNA, your uniqueness. And that's the whole point of like the art of self-embrace. And I would say share. I do share like on Instagram. I don't stay stuck on just sharing on X. I tweak my work so that it applies to Instagram. I even do TikTok. I also share things that I like, that I'm having fun with. Apply to open calls, the ones that align with your work. But also, I've done open calls that that align with like an idea I had, and the open call kind of incentive, like it encourages me, like it pushes me, like, oh, now I have a reason to keep going with this idea. And most of the time, those are the ones that get picked. The L'Oreal was like abstract that I was playing around with already. I had created a video for it, and I was like, oh, cool, abstract. I have this here. And I decided to show it for that open call, and I got it. So meaning, like, don't put yourself in a box. Keep experimenting, keep having fun. And with Web3, something that I wanted to say is that we're all artists. And sometimes we say, oh, I'm a web artist in Web3, but we're artists we don't need to hold on to Web3, or I'm an artist on Instagram. Or, no, we're artists, and opportunities are going to come and align because of that, and not necessarily just because we're in Web3. And yeah, look for different ways to share your art, even if it's selling it on Society 6. Again, like I said, on social media, and have your lifestyle kind of reflect who you are, and try not to buy.
Hi! Hello! Hey, you audacious faces! I'm Anne-Marie Alanis, and I'm an artist, performer, and storyteller. And I'll be sharing my art and a personal and cautionary tale about mistaken love, betrayal, and courage as a speaker at AWEDACITY 2024. AWEDACITY 2024!
Hey y'all, Heather Parody here, and I am so excited to be joining you this year at the AWEDACITY conference. Last year was so powerful, and this year's theme on dreaming bigger, setting audacious goals, and having the courage to take action on them, man, it gets me all kinds of fired up. So can't wait.
Tomorrow, I'm speaking at AWEDACITY 2024 Virtual Women's Empowerment Conference. Join me in the virtual world to engage with my art, hear my story, and meet some amazing speakers. Join me tomorrow on Saturday for the AWEDACITY Summit. Let's go!
what is audacity in your own words?
Oh my gosh. Audacity. I mean, literally, so much empowerment, daring attitude, and opportunities for women by women across the world, expressing themselves for who they are. And I mean, wow, it's just so amazing. I mean, back then, many years ago, events like these never happened. But nowadays, they are. And women deserve to rule the world. Men have had their share. I mean, bye-bye, boys. Women are gonna take their own stand. I mean, bam, they're knocking down doors.